Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be doing another Smash or Trash review video today for a fairly new release. I think this is probably about a couple of months old now. And it's this one over here. It's The Burning by Laura Bates. It's been a book that I've actually been dying to get to, and I don't know why it's taken me kind of that long to actually read it. And I'm annoyed that it took me that long to read it, but I'm glad I have read it. So for those of you that don't know, Laura Bates is the kind of the founder of the Everyday Sexism site, and she's a wonderful feminist. She talks about feminism, she talks about women's rights, and she's really a champion for women supporting women, and just kind of highlighting the kind of everyday things that are happening to young girls and women that maybe we kind of take for granted, but are still there, and need to be brought out into the light. So she is amazing, and I figured that this book was going to be fantastic. She's written some non-fiction. I believe this is her first fiction novel, and it is a YA book, so it is aimed at the YA market. However, I do think as an adult woman, I got a lot out of reading it, so I don't think it's exclusively YA. So the premise of this book, and actually, let me start with the cover. Is the light catching that? I must have been a magpie in a past life because I like shiny things. And this cover is gorgeous. So it's called The Burning, and this is sort of the flames, and I think it's really effective the way they've done that, and also ties in with what the book is about. So it's kind of a two-pronged story. So you've got your main character who she's moved. So Anna's the main character, and her mother have moved to a small town in Scotland because something happened at her previous school that made them leave, and made her mother take her and leave and move from Birmingham, where they were, to this town in Scotland. And it is to do with Anna sending a picture of herself semi-naked to a boy she was dating. So this book is difficult in parts to read because it is about revenge porn. It is about how women are viewed in society and treated. It's this idea of slut shaming, which I hate, and this idea that still in the 21st century, women are held to a different standard than men, and women are blamed for being sexual or for being human, and all the blame is put on the girl and never the boy in these situations. So that in part is one part of the story, and then the other part of the story is Anna's doing a research. She was given a research assignment in her history class, and it's to research a local legend or a local person in this area in Scotland. And the person that she decides to research is a witch, and there were some witch hunts in the area. So The Burning refers to what happened sort of in the 16th century in terms of the witch hunts and witches being burnt at the stake, and how women were persecuted for things like infidelity, well, not even infidelity, they were persecuted for having children out of wedlock. They were persecuted if their husbands didn't like what they were saying. You know, they were accused of being witches. And it was, again, quite often because someone felt that they were too strong, they were saying too much, they didn't like it. The men were never blamed. You know, how do you have a child out of wedlock? You kind of need two people, but it's always, you know, the scarlet letter, right, the woman's fault. So what I love about this book is it really tackles really in-depth, serious themes, and it does it in a really good, honest, interesting way. I like the writing. It's very straightforward. It's very honest. The characterization is fantastic. And like I said, I found it quite hard. In fact, it started to make me angry, some of the things that were happening to Anna. And then also reading about, because the witch hunts is something that I'm really, really interested in. I've read a lot of both fiction and non-fiction on that era, and it always makes me angry, kind of in a good way. I think it should make you angry, of how women were persecuted. But to really, it's so clever to kind of compare the two things and compare the two histories and say, actually, not that much has changed. So it definitely made me angry in parts. It made me think, but I think that was good. It was provocative in a good way. And I do, someone's, Holly Bourne said, you know, this is the book that all teen girls need to read. Now, I absolutely agree with that, but I also think it's a book that women need to read. I think if you're feminist, if you're interested in women's rights, it is a heartbreaking story of what can happen and how things can snowball and how people can treat you and how attitudes have not really changed that much. You know, when you're talking about 1500 and something, 1600 and something, where we had witch hunts and we think, yeah, that's just crazy. Now, is it? You know, are we not doing the same thing via social media quite often? We're burning people, just not at the stake. So I think this is so good. I think this is so thought-provoking. I'm going to be doing some more videos on kind of just the idea of witches and vilifying women and turning them into the stereotypical and kind of evil thing of a witch, because like I said, it's something that I really feel passionate about, and I do think it's something that is very much still happening in the modern sphere, and I think those two things can very much be compared. So I love this book. I love the characters. Anna's mother, actually, at the end of the book, brilliant. Love her. So yeah, I think, I mean, for me, this is a 5-star read, simply just because the subject matter, everything, I just think it's fantastic. I would highly, highly recommend this. Really, really good book. Yeah, I think Laura Bates has done a fantastic job with it. So again, let me know what you think. Give me any recommendations, because anything to do with sort of witch hunts, witch trials, anything like that, good feminist reads, I'm always on the lookout for those. So thank you very much. Speak to you all again soon. Bye-bye.